Welcome to the Benefits of Knowledge podcast with Lorne Curry of Curry Financial Group Limited. In this podcast, we are focused on helping businesses set up and manage their group benefit plan to protect and assist their most valuable assets. Join us on this journey where Lorne explores ways to help you develop effective and cost-efficient strategies for your business. Now, on to the show.
Hello and welcome to the Benefits of Knowledge with Lorne Curry. Lorne, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Eric. Doing great.
I'm excited to be back with you. I know that you have some good information that you're going to be sharing today, and I don't exactly understand it. You're talking about multiple coverage in my mind, right?
That is correct. People have coverage from more than one plan.
From more than one plan. So that's a little confusing to me. So is it fairly common for employees to be covered by more than one group insurance plan? How does that work?
I would say yes, if we have two spouses or common law partners, however you want to say that. If they both work both of their employers offer programs, then they could possibly be covered by two different plans. Okay, so we call that coordination of benefits if you take advantage of that. And, hopefully the insurance companies, most of them follow it. But if we have rules of how this works, then the two plans can work very smoothly together, and it's a benefit to the employees.
Oh, heck yeah. That would be great. I didn't realize that could even happen. I've never been in a situation where we've been covered, like my wife and I have been covered by two different policies. It's always been she carried the benefits, or when we both worked at the same place, we both had, benefits, but it was our own. So interesting. Okay, so how do the insurance companies coordinate between each other then? What does that coordination of benefits look like?
Okay, so if you have employees and they have two plans, it results in overlapping of coverage, right? So as I mentioned, we need rules then so we know which plan is the first payer. So who do we put the claim through to, right? Mm-hmm. So most of the time, this is for your health and your dental coverage. It's not for the other benefits, it's health and dental. So when those insurance companies use the same rules, it works out fair to all the companies in the long run. We wouldn't want a couple putting all the first claims into one person's plan and not the other, because then that's not going to be right.
Yeah, the other plan just gets money, right? I mean, the other plan would just get all the money and they wouldn't have to pay anything out.
Yes. So when you have what we call, so we'll say insurer A is the first payer, and we're going to assume there's what we call an 80% co-insurance, right? So the plan covers 80% of the claim. Mm-hmm. So the first payer would cover the 80%, and then insurer B, so the other spouse or partner's coverage, would be covering the other 20%. So now the employee gets 100%, even though their own plan only pays for 80%. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's fantastic. 100% cover sounds pretty good to me.
Well, and that's why you would do it. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So is this something that the employees have to set up, or who does this for them, or is it just automatic when they register that they've got, my wife has benefits, I have benefits, and it's just done automatically? How does that work?
Okay, so when you fill out your enrollment form to join the group insurance plan, generally when you're hired or you become full-time or whatever the criteria, there's a section on that enrollment form that's going to ask you if you have comparable coverage under another plan. So if this is your only plan, okay, if you're single or if your spouse or partner does not have coverage, you just don't have to worry about that section. But if you do have existing coverage, you need to carefully consider how you want these two plans to work together, or do you want to have them both? So if you have that comparable coverage, you can choose to either waive coverage or coordinate the benefits. You get your choice.
Okay. So you don't have to take coverage on both plans? Why would you not?
Okay, well, you may choose to waive that coverage for yourself yourself and your dependents, or your dependents only. So you get the choice of who do I want to waive for if I'm waiving. But by waiving coverage, you would not pay the premiums for those benefits, but you'll be relying only on one insurance plan for coverage. So the downfall here is if you are paying a portion of the premium for your health and dental, Okay. As we've talked in the past on our past podcasts for tax reasons and stuff like that, I recommend that the employers pay 100% of the health and dental. So if that's the case, then you wouldn't want to waive. You'd want to take advantage of this situation. However, if you're paying 50% of the cost of those benefits, you may look at it and say,
got it.
well, you know what? I'm not going to receive as much as it's going to cost me to pay for that health and dental.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So now you got to, an important thing here is you must have comparable coverage under another plan to waive a benefit, right? So your spouse or partner has to have, a comparable type plan. So having basically meaning you have to have extended healthcare and dental.
Okay. So is that that's what comparable would be? They don't have to be the same amounts and stuff, but same kind of coverage?
Basically just meaning you have group benefits. So on the form, it generally asks for your partner's carrier name and possibly the policy number. I don't know if anybody audits that, frankly, but that's asked on the benefit enrollment form. Yeah. So if you don't have coverage, you can't waive it, right? That's just not the way it works.
Okay. All right. So again, I'm just trying to kind of wrap my brain around it. You mentioned the rules, right? So, and you were talking about kind of which plan pays for what coverage first. How does that get decided? I know that you brought up the 80-20 rule that would be, add up to 100% coverage, but who do we know which one pays first?
Okay. So this is going to get dry and not too exciting, but I'll go through a bunch of scenarios for you.
Okay. All right.
So who's going to pay if I have a plan? So we're talking me now and my spouse has a plan. Okay. So as a member, so I am going to always put the claim through my plan first.
Okay. That makes sense. Yep.
So I am the employee. This is my coverage. All right. And then if that 20% that's not covered on my plan, I'm going to submit that through my spouse or partner's plan because I'm considered a dependent on that plan. Right? So 80 in our scenario, 80% is paid by my plan, and then my spouse's plan is going to pay the other 20. My spouse, completely opposite. So my spouse is going to put it through her plan first, get the 80% or whatever the percentage is paid, and then what's not paid by that, she's going to submit as the dependent through my plan. That make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Pretty straightforward, right?
Yes.
But then we get into, okay, now we have children. Both parents have a plan. We have children. They're both our dependents, right? So the parent with the earlier birth date in the calendar year pays first. It's the first payer. So if my wife's birthday comes before mine, so our kids would always, the first claim would go through her plan. And again, what's not covered then would be going through my plan.
Oh, so
Okay.
and you're saying earlier birth date in the calendar year, not age,
Yeah.
right? So it's not who's older.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, interesting.
Yeah. So my wife's birthday is June 1st. Mine's July 30th. So she comes first. That means the kids are going to be going through her plan first.
Okay.
Right? Now,
Yeah.
we get the odd time. What if both of our birthdays are the same date? Doesn't happen often, but it does happen. Okay.
All right. What time
Then
were you born, Lorne?
No, we're not going to know that because that'd be too complicated. But
I know, right?
whose first name begins with the earlier letter in the alphabet?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't ask me beyond that because I have no idea.
Yeah. So if Lorne and Laura are together, then that could cause another issue, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yes. It's people, you really don't think about this kind of stuff, right? But like I said, after the alphabet, I'm not sure. I'd have to go and ask an insurance carrier. I haven't run into that in 25 years. So
Okay. Well, good. Yeah. Well, fingers crossed. And well, now that I know,
Right.
I have to say, hey, as of this recording, happy birthday tomorrow, Lorne, because tomorrow's your birthday.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. New decade tomorrow. So
Oh boy.
I don't know. I got family members telling me I'm getting old, but I don't believe them. So
Yeah. Just don't listen to them. Don't listen to them.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So let me ask you this. Now you talked a little bit about common law, right? If you're living with somebody, and I don't know the rules, I don't know if it goes by territory or if it goes by just number of years that would make you common law, but I'm sure there's issues with common law folks that live together, but also people that are separated or divorced, right? How does all that work?
Okay, so just to answer your question about common law, it's 12 months of cohabitation, I guess.
Oh, is that it? Okay, 12 months. Wow, that's quick.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. So it does get again messy when we have separations, divorces. Then there's children involved. So as far as the kids go, it's the parent that has custody of the child. Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay.
They're going to put the claims through their plan first, and then that would go back. Actually, we'll even throw another twist in. So if that parent is married or common law with another person, okay, and they have coverage, then the spouse or partner of the parent that has the child of the custody of the child, then it's going to go through their plan second.
Okay.
Because it's in their household.
Yes. Yep. That makes sense.
Okay. And then if there's anything left over, I guess then we would go to the parent not having custody of the child.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. So we're getting pretty deep there. But yeah. So, if only the spouse has coverage that has the child and their partner does not, or they're not with anyone, then the second payer would come back to the other parent's plan.
Okay. I'm going to throw a curveball. You ready?
Sure, go for it.
There was a little hesitation there, Lauren. I'll take it easy on you. Maybe. We'll see. So what if parents have 50-50 custody? Is it something with, the children are one parent 1 week and then they're the other parent's another, the next week? Is it depending on where the incident happens? So if they break an arm or they get sick and they have to go to the doctor, for a sick visit, is it based on who they were with at the time?
No, we're going to go back to the birthday.
Oh, are we? Okay.
So which parent's birthday is first, month and day is earlier in the calendar year.
Okay. All right.
But that's good question because yes, I mean, these days we see every scenario, right? So, but yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Okay. So here's another one. What happens if you've got two, both parents, let's say they're not separated, they're together. Both parents have coverage and one of them loses their job. I don't know how long coverage is extended while somebody loses a job. If that's part of a severance package, does that affect it, or is it something where the other parent's coverage takes over immediately? How's that work?
Now, actually, that's a really good question because there's time limits.
Okay.
Right? Again, I think we had a podcast in the past where we talked about communication with the insurance company on different things. Mm-hmm. If one person either leaves their job or they just lose their coverage, maybe they don't work enough hours or whatever the case might be, you have to make sure you inform the insurance company that the one partner still has, okay? We have to inform them to say, okay, my spouse has lost coverage. All of our claims are going to be coming through here. Because if we don't, they would be expecting the 80% of the claims being paid with the other carrier, which is no longer there.
Okay.
Right? So you only have 31 days to make sure you've informed the insurance company of these changes. Anytime we have changes, we should make sure that we keep those lines of communication open.
Yeah.
Right? Very, very important. Okay? So as long as you notify them within that 31 days, you're going to be able to restore full coverage without any kind of issue, on the one plan. Mm-hmm. And then if you're not in the 31 days, now you're going to be considered a late applicant. So if it's your plan, so if it's my plan and my wife's lost her coverage, I'm going to be fine because I'm already covered on my plan. Mm-hmm. But my wife or my children, it could be an issue where they would have to start filling out medical evidence, whether to find out if they're going to be eligible to get coverage, and you don't want to get in that situation.
Yeah.
Right? Because as long as you do it in 31 days, there's no question at all. So you got to get it done on time.
Got it. Okay. So I do have another follow-up question to what you said earlier. When you have that double coverage, let's say you have to go to the hospital and you're filling out all the paperwork, and there's always a lot of paperwork, right? But you fill out the paperwork and you know that it's going to be submitted to insurance. How does the second insurance company get the information, or how is the remainder of the claim? I guess it would be that 20% that we spoke about earlier. How does that get submitted to the insurance company? Is that something that the doctor takes care of or the hospital takes care of, or do we have to do that on our own?
Well, you got to kind of remember it's a little different here in Canada because generally speaking, if we go to the hospital, we're not getting a bill unless we're in private or semi-private rooms.
That's
right?
true. Yep.
Yeah. So we're talking here more of going to the dentist or getting a prescription or going to the chiropractor. That's more of our claims here. So what happens is you submit the claim to the first company. So I send it into my carrier, and they're going to pay the 80%. They're going to send out a document. Nowadays, most of the time is by email. It's called an EOB, which means explanation of benefits. And that's going to state on there how much was paid. So the 80%, right? If it's a $100 claim, they're going to say, yep, we've paid the $80 and you've paid the $20. So then I take that and submit it to my spouse's plan, and they're going to just take that information and say, okay, well, they're out $20, so they're going to pay it from that end.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's a two-step process. You have to wait till you get the explanation of benefits, then you submit it to the other plan.
All right. So, Lorne, let me ask you another question. You spoke earlier about you have to weigh the benefits of having two full coverages, right? Because you can waive. One person can waive benefits because it may be better coverage and less pay out of pocket, with their spouses. Is there any other way of getting top-up coverage rather than having two health and dental plans?
I'm glad you asked that, Eric. We've spent a lot of time here on the podcast talking about healthcare spending accounts. Actually, Episode 5, the whole episode was talking about healthcare spending accounts. They fit perfectly into this scenario. If one spouse or partner has health and dental, rather than having the two plans. So again, the downfall would be if I have to pay 50% of the premium for my health and dental. I may say, that's not worth it, right?
Yeah.
But I could waive the health and dental. If I have a healthcare spending account, then whatever's not covered by my spouse's plan, I would actually be able to submit that leftover 20% in our scenario, right? I could submit that to my healthcare spending account, and those claims would be paid there. So I'm not paying the premium, but my employer has provided me the health spending account, which, as we know, is very flexible. I can use that to pay that other 20%.
Yeah, right? that sounds great.
Yeah. So, I'm a big fan of health spending accounts and all the flexibility there. Now, the thing I should mention here is if you have a healthcare spending account, that's great. But if your employer is paying 100% of the premiums, then I would still coordinate benefits because I want to save my healthcare spending account for things that the plans do not cover. Okay, so example being, if both of our plans have basic dental coverage, that is not going to cover a crown, right? So I could use it for a crown. The other big one that I talk about a lot is vision care. Even if my plan has, $200 towards glasses, and even if my spouse's plan has $200 towards glasses are probably $600-$700 nowadays. So, I make sure I put as much through the insured programs and then save my health spending account for the stuff that is not covered. But again, if you're paying premiums, then I would seriously consider, if you have the health spending account, is it worth paying those premiums, or should I just use my healthcare spending account for what my spouse's plan does not cover? Got it. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's again, you just have to kind of think it through. And I like to make sure people understand how those healthcare spending accounts work. But again, if they have questions about that or how they can, work together, stuff like that, please just give me a call, pop me an email, whatever. I'm more than happy to, again, get into more detail about that and make sure people understand how they work.
Yeah, and I would say that anybody that works, that's in HR or as a controller, if they've got employees that are asking these same questions, they should be reaching out to you so they can help coordinate that, right?
Yes. Yeah, we're not normally taking calls from employees of the companies. It is the plan administrator, which is quite often the HR manager, or sometimes it's the controller, depending on the size of the company. Got it.
Yeah. Yep. So if you have questions and you're hearing this and you're an employee, bring it up to HR and let them know that, hey, Lorne can answer all their questions. Can you give your contact information one more time, Lorne?
Certainly. Our 800 number is 1-866-445-4424. You can go to our website, curryfinancialgroup.com. Curry is Curry. And our emails, contact information is all on the website.
Perfect. All right. Well, Lorne, thank you so much. I appreciate your time today. I learned a lot as usual.
All right. That's great, Eric. That's what we're trying to do, is help people understand this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, our last thank you goes to you, the listening audience. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the Benefits of Knowledge podcast with Lorne Curry. If you have not subscribed to the podcast yet, please click the subscribe now button below. This way, when Lorne comes out with a new podcast, it'll show up directly on your listening device. This makes it much easier to share these podcasts with your colleagues. Again, thanks for listening today. For everyone at Curry Financial Group, this is Eric Johnson reminding you to live your best day every day. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Benefits of Knowledge podcast. Click the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available.